Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to do a comparison of Springbank 18, the last 3 years released, 22, 23, and 24. The reason we picked these Springbank 18s, we've always been a fan of this whiskey, Dustin. And Springbank has always done a really good job of mixing up the cask macerations from year to year on most of their core whiskeys. The 15 sherry is always, sherry to some degree.
But we noticed it changes. I mean, it's always 100% sherry, but the first fill, second fill definitely changes.
They do change. So we want to talk about, the different variations of it. We like to do these three bottle comparisons, like when it's a 425 or like 118, like which one to pick ones. If you have a few of them available to you. Now,
3 is the max you can do in this. Like, come on, we're doing more. We're just gonna be like, I don't know, man, I've forgotten.
Basically, we'll do this when we like this version of a whiskey, and it changes a little bit every year, and we'll give you the last 3 years or 3 of the last 4 years and tell you what you think. So we're not going to go into cask macerations unless you would like to.
No, Mike, let's skip that. I'll be honest with you, Mike. I can't remember the maturations off the top of my head.
Good.
I also can't remember what the scores we gave to these 3, so...
I can't either.
Truth be told, I literally can't tell you, other than there's a difference in color, but...
Now, always, yes, this will be...
I'll be honest, okay. I do know this one's all bourbon. I can't deny that one.
Yeah, but you can just tell by the look at it that Springbank is all natural color. Like, the middle one, the 23, is obviously the darkest one here. Maybe you can't pick it up on the camera or not. But Springbank is natural color, unchill filtered. So not only the cask maturations, that's probably better, are different, but the fact that it's natural color, you'll be able to visually see a difference.
Absolutely.
All right, Dustin. I got a little of that poorly finally. How do you want to do this? Left, right, my friend?
Let's go left, right, yeah.
Again,
22, 23, and 24.
Correct, and our glasses are represented just how they are here.
Ooh, wow, that is very tropical fruits. Pineapples and lemons and like papaya or something. I mean, it's just I'm definitely getting like yellow fruit, very tropical.
Yeah, and citrus. That citrus is definitely lime, pineapple.
Yeah. When this one's got a decent color, I was expecting to get a wallop of sherry, but
I meant lemon, not lime, but yes. All right, Dustin.
Did I say lime? I meant lemon.
I meant lemon too. I said lime. You probably said it right. I remember I said it wrong.
All good.
And the smoke now, a little bit of twinge of the vinegar chips in the background.
Yeah.
A very fruit-forward Springbank 18, I would say, because that's what we're here to do.
Springbank is front and center here, of course. I've just noticed the distinction is that's very citrusy. Let's see, number 2.
Go to 23. This is the darkest one of the 3 here.
Ooh, now that has some deep oak notes in it.
It smells dark.
Sherried. Oh, that leather chair. Oh, wow. I don't remember this one being... I just don't remember there being one that's dark.
I'm a huge fan of comparisons. Every time we do a comparison, I usually will comment in a response to someone. I'll comment about how much I like comparisons. I really like comparisons on the same whiskey.
Raisins and dates, God.
Because you will pick up things you always missed.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I remember both of these being fairly sherried. I don't remember any other distinctions about them, but I remember both having pretty distinct sherry notes.
I can already tell you.
There's just so much more sherried.
If you want sherry, you want some 23.
Yeah.
One's the middle one. I mean, significant sherry.
Yeah, I mean, it is sherry heavy. I thought this one was pretty heavy.
I know. I mean, this one you get fruits.
Yeah.
That's your first experience is orchard fruits, citrus fruits.
Because I felt like they had like 3 or 4 in a row that had a really nice sherry note, starting with the 2020. So I'm all right.
That almost on the nose, it smells like it has a cask maturation. The 2 aren't even in the same ballpark. And you're right. I know these were both sherry to some degree.
Yeah.
And Springbank is...
Yeah, I can see they're both sherry. I mean, they're distinctly.
And Springbank isn't about necessarily the percentage of sherry. For instance, the 12 batch, I want to say 25 or 26. 25 choice, one of them were like, the one that was 57-1. That one had, or one maybe it was 26. I don't know. It had only like 30% sherry or something like that. But man, it was all sherry.
Yeah.
So, even if the cask percentage is low, it's only 20% of the cask or whatever it is, man, maybe they're first fill, maybe they're super active. You just never know what you're getting.
No, you can read the maturation and you'll drink the whiskey and go, oh, that's not what I was expecting.
But sum this one up is, if you want a super sherry, not super sherry, but a super sherry forward dark fruit Springbank 18, 23 is you.
And the 24, Mike, is just as distinctly different as the last two were.
This smells like all bourbon.
It is, for sure.
I think you're right.
It instead of being like as citrusy as the first one, it's
oaky and vanilla.
It's oaky and vanilla, right? But it's a subtle, relaxed citrus. If that makes any sense.
It's a Arizona citrus, not.
It's almost like a Runts banana kind of a thing going on.
I like that. Yeah, dried.
Yeah, it is dry. Good oak notes coming through here. Really nice.
Really nice.
Almost even giving a little bit of oat note.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like wet oats.
I'll tell you what, if you really want to dig into a spirit and just have fun with the whiskey, like diving into different flavors, there's nothing better than an 18 or a 15 to 18-year-old Scotch.
Ex-bourbon.
Yeah. Ex-bourbon.
Even 21.
Springbank 15-year-old single barrel, one of those bourbons. Or even the sherry.
Yeah. Ooh. I would love to see a 15-year-old bourbon just for fun once.
Still out? That says them right there.
15 is always sherry, so a bourbon one would be interesting.
Oh, yeah. No, I get the bourbon ones now, but yeah, they discontinue those. Now it's the 21 and the 12. The ex-bourbon, the traditional ones. Balvenie.
Balvenie. I said Springbank.
Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me.
No, yeah. Balvenie is the great example. They've done excellent single barrels in the bourbon.
Yeah, again, I mean, there's a scenario where you don't have to have a cask strength. Again, 15, 18-year-olds, ex-bourbon, you have a decent spirit. You know what it does well, Dustin? It does a lot of the lighter orchard fruits well. Orchard fruits sashaying into like tropical.
Now, if you go back to the first one, Mike, it does come off very distinctly sherried and oaky.
More sherried.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not getting as much citrus, I guess. This is what I'm kind of.
You're right. It was citrus forward comparatively.
Yeah.
And this is just darker. This
is just a different animal.
I almost want to compare him to Springbank 12 cask strength. This is batch 25.
I remember not.
This is batch 17.
I remember not buying a back of this because I wasn't blown away when I first cracked it.
It smells the best.
God, I wish I bought more now just smelling it.
All right, so this is an odd scenario where I really can't say what's best. I mean, this is more sherry. I love the all bourbon cask maturation.
Yeah,
and like the light tropical fruit, like southern orchard.
They're distinctly different. I like them all.
And this is Lagavulin 12 2015. It's a nice mix of everything.
I will just say that this is kind of my favorite sherry note as far as like just in general when whiskeys get sherried. I really like the note this one's bringing us.
Agreed.
So I don't know if it's my favorite here, but it is like hitting that wheelhouse. I love the Springbank being all bourbon though, and this is really good. But this one doesn't have. This one's like again a balanced whiskey. Whereas like I think of Springbank 18, I think of a balanced between the sherry and bourbon. This is what I think of on Springbank 18. But again, it's a little citrusy, which is different. So
I tell you what, man. As far as my preference, and it's close between these two. I'd go 1, 2, 3 as far as the nose.
I'm probably right there with you, but I'll tell you what, it's like one, and then really like
these are close.
I could go either way. I do like that cherry note though. God. Bad whiskey too, and I should have waited for talking while Mike was sipping, but I didn't want to wait.
Sorry, that's my bad too. Man, there's a reason why we like this with whiskey.
That's excellent.
God, good whiskey.
That's everything I like about Springbank 18.
Yeah.
Everything I like about Springbank, it just has everything.
A little funkiness, you get the dough cookies. I mean, again, and Kiesel vinegar chips come here at the end.
It's funky, it's earthy.
But Dustin, because of this whiskey, when I go to Jersey Mike's, instead of getting sun chips, I get Misfix, vinegar and sour, or vinegar and...
I love the Misfix, yeah.
Yeah, vinegar and something. But
salt and vinegar.
Salt and vinegar, right, I'm sorry. And I'm going to salt here, but man, that vinegar, it matches that chip.
Oh, I get the coastal. I get that coastal note with a little bit of sea salt.
I get that coastal note. I get the like that Brimer coastal note, but just in different aspects of the whiskey.
Oh, and it's lingering. It's staying on the palate. Oh, it's so good.
I go back to it. If you're a Springbank fan or someone like Springbank, my goodness, it doesn't matter what 18 you give them, they're going to love that whiskey. I've never had a Springbank 18 I didn't really like.
I swear they've been getting better on top of that. It's just unbelievable.
I agree. I mean, before they're a little more funky. Like now,
the funk level was a little it was a little weird how funky they used to be. Now it's like, oh yeah.
To me, this offering's gotten so good. The playing with the cask maturation seemed like a positive thing and seemed like a craftsman thing. Now I think it's like Gary Sheffield wagging his bat. Like, man, you know you got.
Back in the day, I feel like Springbank 18 was like, here are the 18 casks we've got. We're just gonna put them together. And now it's like a symphony. There's a master plan that goes into it.
Well, I mean, again, I think they have so much to choose from. They're just,
Springbank's very limited on their older stock. Like I think they're
maybe of a lot of things, but maybe not this.
I think they're planning this stuff years ahead of time. Like they know which, like they're figuring out what's going to the 21, what's going to the 25 at like 6 years old. Like they are so in that zone at this point. They've got to be. But yeah, this is excellent. This is Springbank 18 at its like most classic modern version, not the funkiness of the old ones.
All right,
classic.
So the 23, I'm not saying it isn't sherried, but it wasn't as sherried as it smelled. Oh, actually, now it's picking up on the finish. Because at first it wasn't, but now actually with the finish, now it's building.
It's oakier.
It is.
It's very heavy oak. That's coming from the sherry cask.
Correct.
But I wouldn't call it super sherried, Mike. To your point, like the
It
arrival's
didn't come off
not-
right, but it builds on the finish.
The finish does have like that raisin date leather note, but it's the leather oak note that's really yummy on this whiskey.
Now vanilla and vinegar, which is weird, but it's nice. It's a nice little mix together. I can see why initially maybe we didn't. I don't know this, but I bet we didn't rate this super high because this palate is, I don't want to say unimpressive, but a little disjointed for what I would come to expect from Springbank.
It's missing the peat notes. It's actually like
that too.
The oak has kind of clouded the peat notes. Like again, this has got all the niceness, a little bit of funk. This one's actually, it's not Springbank funk initially. It's oak funk. It's heavy oak. Mm-hmm. I really like it though. Like I like it because I love oak. I love that rich oak. I would believe this is much older whiskey.
I don't want this to come off as I don't like what I'm experiencing. I was expecting something different.
The arrival is not what I was expecting. It actually is Springbank 18 up front, and just kind of not citrusy, but like just sort of there's sherry, there's this.
I'm more confused.
One of these I think has rum in it, maybe, but I can't remember. If you guys always want us to go in blind, this is effectively blind because I don't remember which is which off the top of my head. I have not touched these in a while, with the exception of course, the All X Bourbon, which we did review not too long ago.
I was gonna make it like a joke video, and like start a video blindfolded. Like, all right, you guys want us blind? I was thinking through a few ideas with my wife, and she's like, "I'm dumb. I don't have time for this. I got a baby to raise."
Yeah, if your wife was more game to like be a participant in this stuff, it'd make the blind stuff easier.
It would.
But she leaves whenever we start talking about whiskey.
Yeah.
She takes the kid and leaves.
Yeah.
She always comes back though, so so far.
She says we're born. Although she has heard it for 10 years now. She cannot stand to hear me talk about whiskey anymore.
I remember like the first time she was at one of the bars we were at, just talking whiskey, and like she was there. You all talked maybe for 2 minutes of the hour and a half we were there. You talked more to the bartender than you did to her.
We were at that steakhouse I took you, the Hyde Park I took you one time before, and I knew the guy who was our waiter, and he was talking about scotches here, and he's like, I tried this, and it was a guy I talked to before, and at some point she was just like, this date night, like I hear this all the time from this nerd, like beat it. All right, Dustin, the 24. What are you thinking, big guy? What are you thinking? Does it smell good and taste good?
So
that's the idea.
Part of me was kind of like, this is a little boring on the nose comparatively. The others had more things going on, but
it's bourbon cask maturation.
But it's beautifully done. Oh my God, it's beautiful on the palate. It is the most distinct of the three, but not like because it's got flavors that are unusual. In fact, this is more classic Scotch. This reminds me more of other whiskeys than Springbank, but it's more distinct as a Springbank. The peat's nice here. It's not super peaty. In fact, I actually think the first one we did had a little more peat notes. Ooh. This definitely has a nice, decent amount.
Ooh, that might be the peatiest one.
It's so good.
That might be the peatiest one, or just because it's bourbon cask maturation.
The first one had more on the finish, I noticed. Like this one, the peat's not lingering as much on the finish for me.
Man, I continue to be impressed.
Fresh, oily, God.
With all bourbon cask maturations. I don't care if it was the local barley or this 18. I like that. I do like that with the local barleys and the 18s and maybe one or two other offerings, Springbank has recently done a release that was all heavy sherry and all ex-bourbon.
Yep.
I love seeing both ends of that spectrum.
Absolutely, and I tell you
Everything in between.
I am definitely more partial to the 100% bourbon than the 100% sherry.
I agree, and I wouldn't have said that before. You know what I mean? It's almost like Catalan. Like, at first it's like, oh, this is just a sherry whiskey. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, maybe not. Maybe it's both.
I remember when
Maybe it's a yin yang.
We did a video, and you were like, always this, and I'm like, Mike, they're all good. And you're like, really? And I'm like,
I remember that video.
And then I brought a bourbon to you, and you're like, oh my God.
I thought you misspoke. I tried to correct you. Like, you didn't dust them? All right, so on the palate neat, I think, again, the 24 is my favorite, and maybe I'm partial to the more bourbon cask maturation, but I would go 24, 22. For as impressed I was on the nose, I was not impressed on the palate, Dustin.
I hadn't really thought of it. I actually do think I like this one best on the palate because of the finish.
Really?
I love that oaky finish. I love the oakiness.
That's all I had. The other ones are more popping, more spring.
I get you. This would be number 2, and this would be 3.
So you think the exact opposite?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think we both had this second, right?
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so we both had this too.
Oh, you're right. But the exact. You know.
Yeah, we had these two flipped. Yeah. That said, I'm not ready to make a final decision yet. I'm still going in my head. I was just kind of my gut feeling.
All right, we're going water, and we're going left to right. Or from your perspective, right to left.
Oh, my God. I love this with water. Wow, what a whiskey.
You're right. It does. It took water well.
It brought everything together. That's what it did. It brought everything together. It's still got the citrusiness, but now I'm getting like the rich vanilla, and then I'm getting that. And sometimes I talk about berries with sherry, but this is distinctly raisins and dates coming through.
You're right, man. It's good.
This might have the rum in it. I don't know. It's got something.
This actually improved with a little bit of water in it. We see 46. Wow. Wow. This is gonna be hard to top this one.
And we're just below the halfway points. This one's been open for a couple of years now.
It's so good, Dustin.
It's been well opened up. Oh my God, that's excellent.
I didn't love the initial nose on it compared to the other two, but man, it has done nothing but run harder since then.
It's getting better in the glass, man. You always say Springbank gets better in the glass.
Well, we say
better in the bottle, better in the glass.
We need time. I think you coined the phrase.
Time in bottle, time in glass. Yep.
You're right, though.
This
is getting bubblegum now.
You're right.
It's bubblegum sharing Springbank dirt. You know what it is? It's Hubba Bubba on the ground.
Dude,
at Kings Island or something.
I feel like I'm in a rick house nosing this thing, man.
There is a bit of dusty bourbon-esque oak to it.
Just such rich. This smells like European oak, like that very spicy European oak. But there's also I am getting the smoke note, but it's coming in early. Usually the smoke note comes in the end. It's coming in early, midway through the nosing, mid-nose.
I don't love what it did with water on the palate. It's still there. It just kind of drowned out the sherry. Made it a little stringent, a little tannic, slightly. I prefer this one neat. This one, this one was one of my favorite. My favorite on those. This one continues to fade as this one continues to come up. It was a racehorse.
Yeah.
I worked at a racetrack when I was in high school in the summers.
The finish is still the highlight of this one.
It's coming down the stretch.
The initial arrival sucks.
And around the turn they come.
The initial, I'm no longer regretting not buying another one of these. I don't know if I have a backup of this or not. I know I have a backup of this.
And down the stretch they come.
These got hard to buy backups of when they hit 300. I was like, that's $600 every year. I don't know if I can do that.
They didn't become hard to buy. It's just the continued financial decisions we make in regard to whiskey. We can't justify.
Yeah, but that makes it hard. Also, they're harder to get too. Like
they sell out Springbanks of a mediocre 18-year.
I mean, there have been ones I bought 7 of, Mike.
Oh, brother, I know.
And I drank 6 of them already.
There have been bottles we bought 15 of.
Yes, there have. I mean, Springbank 18s. I've bought that many of some of the Springbank 18s back in the day.
I mean, a singular one.
Yes.
Catalan. Whiskey World exclusive.
Yeah. 60. But the 2020 Springbank 18, I bought like 9 of those. A lot of those went to you, but I don't like what the water did on the nose here.
Nope.
Got a little funky and not in a good way. Also getting a little bit of glue notes coming through here, which I don't like. It's obvious that the peat now is actually coming up more, and it's giving it like that plasticine note, which isn't a bad thing, but then it's mixed with that fruitiness.
Yeah, it's not that. It's dirty fruit with. It's like a funky citrus. I still like it better than. I still like this better than this with water.
Well, the nose is the worst of the group now by far. However, I'm with you there. The palate. This has way more peat. Like this one, the peat is gone. You can smell the smoke in it. But it's just not. There's you get some smoke. You don't get peat. I almost wonder if it's wood smoke. They've somehow unpeated the Springbank with those casks. It's weird. This is nice.
Unpeated. They covered it up. All right, look, Dustin.
I'm joking, obviously.
Down the stretch they come. This is just like an afternoon at Soda Downs when everyone was hooting and hollering when these two were in front. But just like in those races, Dustin, the guy who stumbled out the gate, when you take everything into account, nose neat, palate neat, nose with water, palate with water, long finish. It started slow, but it was relentless. 1, 2, 3.
So this wins by a landslide here at the end. I mean, it left the field.
As soon as we started running, it was over. It was Michael Johnson. It
Yeah.
didn't start out the fastest. Once he got about 40, 50 yards, it was gone.
The jockey on this one knew, look, you can't run the whole time. But if you go through a quarter of this race and chill,
You pace
the
himself.
last
Pace
3 quarters
himself.
you can sprint.
These were masking, trying to cover up. Actually, this one trying to cover up shit. But yeah, 22. Yeah, and then I looked at Bourbon one next, and then. But you know, you started this video by saying, for some reason, I don't remember the scoring high the 23. I gotta look back at it. It's the most sherry. It's the darkest one.
Well, I didn't say the score because I remember scoring
said
this.
score, yes.
I remember scoring this one higher than I expected because I enjoyed it that day. But I remember just my first crack on this one. My first thought was, I don't know. And it's with water. I will say, I mean, these two are pretty close for me, neat. But with water, this thing sank like the Titanic. This did just fine. It smells a little funky. I mean, relatively speaking to these other ones, but the mouthfeel, the finish, the overall flavors here, it's excellent. Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Same.
We started off very different, Mike.
Yep.
But once we added water,
The holistic
this
experience.
thing just blew up. Incredible.
But again, that one was always 2 for both of us.
Yeah. I mean,
that was the one consistency we had.
That's true. Yeah.
Because we said that wasn't the best.
But yeah, the oaky finish on this thing initially is great. So if that is your thing, just since we're trying to tell you guys which one to choose. If you do love that really oaky, heavy oak note, this one's the king.
And we love oak, Justin.
On the finish. Yeah, but
we do love oak. But we just, I mean, again, we love it all.
Yeah, but this is oaky for like it's not a Springbank once you really get into it. Like
It's not, you're right, but it's
Like-
not just that. It's the least of these whiskeys.
And here's the other thing I'll say, Mike. I think you would get 80% of this whiskey with a Springbank 15 that's really dark. And as a result of that, just buy some Springbank 15 and, mix it with a little bit of 10 and you'll be pretty close to this.
I wouldn't go that far. I see where you're going from the sherry perspective, sure. But, I mean, the 18 is such an upgrade from the 15.
There's more going on here, but my point is this thing's not special.
Agreed.
There's nothing that can replace this. There is nothing comparable in the Springbank line. This is special there. But
Agreed.
this is just perfection of the 18.
It's just a better whiskey.
This is what the 18 is supposed to be.
Yep.
Like, it's mixing of different casks and creating a better whiskey than the individual casks, and this is what it is. Excellent.
I totally agree. All right, folks, those are our thoughts on this Springbank triple comparison 22, 23, 24. Really can't go wrong with any of them. This is like when we had these discussions like Jordan and LeBron. Like, look, they're the same whiskey. These are all wins.
Yeah.
They're all wins. But wins are different.
Hey, different era, different time. These are just different years.
All kinds of wins, but some wins are
But in
different.
the whiskey world, I guess every year is a new era.
So if we'll call this which one to pick. Springbank 18 the last 3 years. One to pick is 22. If you can't find 22, try to find 24. If you can't find 24, 23 is still a great whiskey. And if you can't find any of them, well, no shit, it's Springbank. But you know we're going to find them.
Guys, you can find these at auctions. I don't want to know what you're going to pay for it because I don't go to auctions for that reason because it hurts.
Or the next time you're in grocery, I'll come on by. I'll give you a sample. No, I'll give you a drink. Look at drunk to hear me talk. All right, folks.
You're not leaving with whiskey. You're drinking it here.
Down leaving with whiskey. Everything stays here. All right, folks. Those are our thoughts on these last 3 years releases of Springbank 18 and kind of which one to choose. Hopefully, it was helpful. It was fun.
That was the most important part.
For sure. All right, folks. If you had a chance to try any of these or Springbank 18 in general,
which is your favorite? Any year, not just these three.
Tell us about it. Dustin, until next time, folks.
Happy drinking.
See you then.